Alright, what's going on, good people? It's your boy Peacemaker back with another video. Alright, so in my last Ghost of Yotei video, I showed off my Shinobi build. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. I do have two more builds complete, which is the Mercenary and the Hunter, which I'm probably going to release well, actually you're watching the Mercenary build video now. And probably the day after, I'm more likely gonna upload my Hunter build. Still working on the Samurai build. I actually got some new cards that I actually been trying to experiment with, so I'm trying to get those leveled up. And once it's done, I will be releasing a video on that as well. So let's get into the Mercenary. All right, so how should I start this one? I want to do like my Skull and Bones videos, honestly, like start from the ground up with my gear, and then maybe I can explain that. Okay, yeah, we'll do it that way. All right, so, well, before I go any further into my Mercenary build, let me explain the idea briefly, the concept behind my Mercenary build. Now, I have yet to complete the raid mission to Lower Santo, and fighting that boss actually gave me the idea for this build. So I haven't tried them out. I haven't tried the build out against mission 2 with the raid, but I do plan on to sometime maybe tomorrow. But we all know that the raid can be quite challenging to beat, if anything quite annoying actually. But let's get right into it. So for, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. All right, so I start from the top. At the top is gear 1, at the very bottom is gear 7, and we'll work our way from gear 7 to gear 1. So with gear 7, I've really been trying to get away from this playing card, but like it's been really reliable for my playstyle. Now, for gear 7, I went with the purified healing incense, which, as you saw in the Shinobi video, it deploys the incense that grants spirit and heals nearby allies over time. It has a 90-second cooldown. Now, as I put the pieces of the puzzle together, you'll kind of see what I'm going for. Now, the two perks I went for was the ghost cooldown reduction. I have that capped out at 12%, and I also have the class ability cooldown reduction at 12% as well. And for my third perk, I went with Armory instead of the, what's the other one? I think it's a larger healing area. Yeah, larger healing area. For the way I have the build, the Armory kind of comes in clutch a little bit better than the larger healing area. Honestly, a lot of people don't pay attention to you having the healing instant that grants spirit. A lot of people just like get a little healing and run off and don't get a spirit. So, and while I'm here, I don't know what it means to retire a year. So if any, sorry about that. So if anybody knows what that means, feel free to leave it down in the comments. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. Alright, so that's what I did with my gear 7 for Mercenary. So for my gear 6, I actually went with the Spirit Kunai, which is going to lower all cooldowns by 10 seconds when used to kill an enemy. Has a 30-second cooldown. And as you can all see, I really kind of focused on really the cooldowns, because the Mercenary has like the best cooldowns out of all the builds. So I wanted to enhance that not a little bit, but quite a bit for the approach I was going for. But I went with the Ghost cooldown reduction by 12%. I also went with the class ability cooldown reduction by 12%. And I also have for my third perk, Hidden Blaze, which is going to allow me to throw 4 additional kunai. And my take on that, if this weapon here is going to lower my cooldown by 10 seconds, lower all cooldowns by 10 seconds, there's no point in me just throwing just one. I can throw forward and possibly get a kill off of somebody else if I don't get a kill off the one I'm targeting. Now for my gear 5, it's pretty much just a basic charm, nothing special about it. I kind of went for the same approach that my Shinobi had with the Spirit Heal effect. Well, yeah, the Spirit Heal effect, perfect parry window, capped that at 36%, Spirit Heal by 45. And my third perk I went with was the parry heal, which perfect parries heal you. Now for my gear 4, I went with the Storm Hannah. I really don't know how to pronounce that. But this here comes in clutch, like whenever I want to do range attacks. I know a lot of people go for the guns, but I was trying to keep it traditional with the no gun approach. Like the guns are clutch, but I like the arrows better. So the rolls I went for on this one, I went for all range speed increased by 11% and all range damage increased by 22%. And the last one I rolled was my third perk for this one was the fire arrows, which is going to add a small amount of fire arrows. Now the reason I didn't go with the poison arrows, because from what I've experienced, yeah. So from what I've experienced with the poison arrows, you don't get a good quality amount of them. And then not only that, the poison status effect doesn't really do damage. It's more like a stagger effect. So with the fire arrows, I both get the status effect plus the damage. Plus I get a higher quantity of the fire arrows. Alright, on to gear 3. For my Adachi, I went with the Vigilant Adachi. I really don't use the Adachi very often. I mainly just pretty much did rolls to help complement other rolls that I have. And the rolls I went with for my Adachi was the perfect counter damage capped out at 30%, thrown weapon damage by 18%, and that's mainly to boost the damage I'm going to do with the Spirit Kunai. So the Spirit Kunai has a 18% damage increase. I am going to change the Poison Blade. Maybe the attacks that can cause poison. Actually, I can do that here now. I normally will go for Burning Blade, but I'm actually going to go for Unstoppable Force. And it says Unstoppable Force damage taken while attacking can be recovered. Now that I think about it, I may have to redo that. Because if I did it with the Restoring Hadachi, it says effective against brutes, healing. It heals when execution strikes are on knockdown enemies. And if you pair that with Unstoppable Force, damage taken while attacking can be recovered. That technically puts you in a better spot healing wise. I may change that up, but I don't use the Hadachi that often, so I just kind of stuck with the Vigilant one. So for my gear 2, I went with the Relentless Dual Katana. The perks I rolled for this was the perfect counter damage capped out at 30%, perfect parry window at 36%, and I also have the poison blade on this as well, which I am going to change that. I just went with the poison. I really don't care too much for poison, to be honest with you. Poison, like I said, it doesn't really do damage. It's just a stats effect to help get you that stagger. And lastly, I went with for my gear 1, I went with the Shattering Kunai. Not Kunai, Katana. I think I said that wrong in my last video. But the Shattering Katana, my perk 1, perfect counter damage at 30%, And I also have the class ability cooldown reduction at 11%. Well, capped out at 11%. And then for my third perk I roll for the katana, it's the resolve of lightning, which is going to increase stagger damage inflicted by each parry with katana. I honestly don't use this one very often. The dual katanas have a higher success rate of combination attacks versus the just the kunai. The kunai is a little more sluggish, kind of like the adachi, but not as slow. And what I did with my perks, I went, well, not perks, my techniques. I went with the spirit throw, which is going to conjure a spirit weapon that can be thrown, and it only has a 30-second cooldown. Now I know some people they're gonna go for the spirit animal, but again I wanted to focus on being a cooldown specialist. Since this has a 40-second base cooldown and this only has 30 seconds, why not reduce the cooldown time even more? Which 30 seconds in this game, in between fighting enemies, it can be a long time depending on the situation, but the faster the cooldown, the better. So with, make sure I got this right. Yeah. Now this is my class ability um, for my mercenary. So I have a 30-second cooldown there, and I have I have one, two, three. I have three class ability cooldowns. One is at 12%. I have another one at 12%, which brings us to 24. And I have another one with my, oh, I explained that wrong. Okay, let me slow down. Let me slow down. So with my purifying incense, I have a class ability cooldown reduction of 12%. With my spirit kunai, I have a class ability cooldown reduction of another 12%, which puts us at 24. And then with my shattering kunai, what not kunai, katana, I have a class ability cooldown of 11%. So you take 24 and 11, that puts you right at a 35% cooldown for my class ability. And since it only has 30 seconds, that doesn't really take that long. Not to mention if you combine that with the benefits of the spirit kunai, which is going to lower all cooldowns by 10 seconds when used to kill an enemy. That's, if you can kind of combine those three together, that comes in really clutch. For my second technique, well, perk one of my techniques, I went with the enhanced impalement, which is going to increase thrown weapon damage by 25%. Now, since I'm using the spirit throw, which already has a pretty decent cooldown, which I'm pretty sure you can get lower where you just like throw the spirit weapon, but I didn't want to go OP. I want to keep it casual and keep the game enjoyable, so that's why I went with the perk 1, where I increased the throw weapon damage by 25%. The other option you could have went with is the enhanced ghost tools, which is going to increase damage of all ghost tools by 35%. So, for example, if you pair that with, well, at least if you're using a mercenary, not only are you going to reduce the cooldown for this weapon, but the main thing you got to pay attention to with this, the Storm Tanzu, I believe I said that right, which this weapon massive capacity of 6 bullets that can be fired in quick sessions at the sacrifice, keyword sacrifice, of 30% reduction damage. So if you went with the, say if you didn't want to take the approach with my build, you can also switch it up and go with the enhanced ghost tools, which is going to eliminate that 30% ghost tool, or damage reduction with the pistol, but you're only going to increase the damage by 5%. So be aware of that. My perk 2, I went with the Spirit Shatter, which it says thrown weapons scatter on impact, dealing damage to nearby enemies, and inflict weaken enemies take more damage and deal less damage. So if I'm already getting a really good cooldown with my spirit, or with my perk 1 class ability, why not apply the weakened state and make it a little easier not to take damage? Other option, you could increase your spirit by 2. I haven't really found a reason to increase it by 2. And the other thing you could do is increase the status effect duration by 30%. I mean, honestly, if you do like the 6-shot pistol, combine enhanced ghost tools with status effect, and you apply, what is it? I think it's burning. Yeah. So the third perk you can apply to this, it inflicts burning on hit, which can kind of make up and increase the damage output, just instead of just having that increase 5% ghost tool damage. And for my perk 3, I went with the energizing smite with the Tanza tech. I am gonna get better on pronunciation, I promise. But the energizing smite refunds a major cooldown on class abilities and ghost tools. So combined with the 30-second cooldown that I get with the spirit throw, then the, what is it? Let's see, 24, 35% cooldown I'm getting with the perks that I rolled on my weapons, and with the energizing smite, I have like a lot of cooldowns going down back to back. And just in case those fail me, on top of all that damage, I can just throw my spirit kunai and get another 10-second cooldown. Probably one of the most effective builds I've come up with so far. Like I said, I haven't tried it out against the mission 2 in the raid against Lord Santo. But let's say, for example, with these healiness, not the spirit kunai, the healing incense, I can throw this down, I can do my ultimate, and then throw down another one like right behind it. So when he does that attack, where it's like endless waves of, I guess you could say, energy hitting you, you can kind of stay in this area with the healing incense. Like I said, throw that down, and then once the first wave is about to hit, do your ult. You could throw another one down right behind it, and plus you're increasing the amount that you're getting healed, and you're getting spirit back. So in case the healing incense goes out, you still have spirit to kind of recover your health back. That was really my approach to Lord Santo, combined with my spirit throwing ability. And since I have a really nice cooldown with the spirit throw, what I like to do a lot of times in some matches, as I'm approaching an area, especially since the game don't really change that much for the most part, if I'm coming up on the area, if I already have one ready, I'll like double up on the spirit throw. So like right now I have a spirit katana in my hand, and I already have another one ready, so I can literally just throw that. I can throw 2 spirit weapons back to back and also apply weakening to my targets. I will show some of the gameplay, but I'm just trying to keep the build simple for the most part. Now in my next video, I will be going over my hunter build. That's probably the most damage output that I can get out of any of the builds I've created so far. Don't get me wrong, I'm a shinobi at heart, but this archer build is definitely a problem. I'm not going to expose that right now. I'm not going to expose the details, but just be aware that is going to come out shortly after this video. So hopefully you all enjoyed the video. I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy.